Good morning, students. Uh, we have gone through the two chapters have been already completed, which has to be asked in your forthcoming examination, in your test, forthcoming UT test, or you know very well that CTs or early CTs and second chapter, the umpire across the three continents will be asked in your examination. Understand? So now we have to in your test that will be the two chapter you have to prepare. And I have already mentioned that you should go through the chapters very carefully or very every each and every line. Understand? You should study the each and every line very carefully. Okay? Or remember the dates, the important portion or important rulers. Understand? There's the important achievements. These all things should must be carefully taken by you. Understand? The two chapters already you know very well. Understand? Students. So then after fourth, five, six, and seven, I would prefer and the Islamic land I am teaching you. We are going through the Islamic land, but for 2 or 3 days, I would like to revise once again the two chapters. Once again, we shall go through the our those chapters which have to be asked in your further test. Understand? So first we shall go very just we shall give a very quick glance on our these two chapters. Okay, I would like to. The first of all, we know very well now the this civilization, the Mesopotamian civilization was the first civilization, first Bronze Age civilization which had been the discovered. Understand? And now we know that before the advent of and before the beginning of the Bronze Age civilizations, now the man enter into the Bronze Age civilization. You know very well. After the copper age, after the copper age, then after the bronze was forced by allowing the we know very well, alloying the tin and copper. These were alloyed, and then after a new a new just a metal was devised. This is that metal is called as the bronze. The bronze was rather harder than the copper, a pure copper. It was the more harder and strongest and more durable than the copper, and man began to force the and human man started making the utensils, tools, weapons, whatever they required. Understand? Required wares. This way began to be the uh, uh, began to be the enacted, began to be the made by the uh, bronze, because the bronze was very durable and harder rather than that. The discovery of bronze brought about the important changes in the human life, because the human every step and the phase human beings was trying to get a new kind of the achievements, a new kind of the a new kind of a new kind of the things which could make their uh, which would make their life easier and comfortable, easier, and they could meet the challenges of those whatever they invented. Understand? Now here we see that the human beings now changes or civilization known as. So after the copper age, now human beings started the new tools on that basis of the tools and the new metals. This age is named as the Bronze Age civilization, or Mesopotamia is supposed to be the and considered as the oldest at the oldest civilization amongst the Bronze Age civilization. Although Bronze Age civilization, we have already studied that now the Mesopotamia civilization flourished on the flourished between the Euphrates and Tigris. Between these two rivers, this great civilization, Mesopotamian civilization, now the flourished. And on the next civilization, Bronze Age civilization, was the Egyptian civilization. Understand? These Egyptian civilizations now flourished on the bank of the Nile River. Understand? And Nile River was the lifeline and the lifeline of the Egyptian civilizations. So, moreover, and we see that Wangwa River, on the Wangwa River, the Chinese civilization developed as the Bronze Age civilization, and the great civilization also now developed. This great civilization is known as the Indus Valley civilization, that is the RC civilization. Okay, so now students, we shall see that these great civilizations have gone, and the age witnessed the growth of new technology and the economic and political development with this, and with the help of this bronze Age civilization, the new bronze Age civilization emerged. The economic changes happened, political changes happened, or the social changes happened. Many of the changes now came about because of this growth of the civilization or the development of this new civilization, and there emerged new political now roles, and also the new social institution as the urban life. Now, as the Bronze Age civilization grew, to so through that the new social relations society formed, the new social relations amongst the people developed. Understand? And moreover, one of the outstanding the facts of this civilization was a development and growth of the urban civilization. And the writing two things we said this for the legacy, this civilization now gave many contributed many in the many field, like the mathematics, astronomy, or mathematics, or geography, literature, and moreover this civilization now gave the world the two things, one the writing or writing, and second the urban life. Understand the process of the urban life, the world now we find the two legacy from this great civilization. And moreover students, the name of the here is the historians now they believe that now transitions from Neolithic to the Bronze Age civilization first took place in the Mesopotamia. This has been the believed or the opinion of the different historians that this civilization from the Neolithic civilization, Neolithic age, directly now the Bronze Age civilizations now appeared first time in the Mesopotamia, right from the civilization, new civilization. From that, so students, we have to be the see here that the earliest known Bronze Age civilization, the Sumerian civilization, is the, or it is also said that many small civilizations developed on the bank of the Euphrates and the Tigris. But amongst that, it is supposed that the Sumerian civilization was the oldest civilization amongst the Bronze Age civilization, whatever the civilization developed, but amongst the entire Bronze Age civilization, the Sumerian civilization is supposed to be the oldest Bronze Age civilization, or here now broadly correspond to the present day Iraq and Mesopotamia, or that the civilization, Sumerian civilization, represents or denotes the present day Iraq civilization, thus the present day country Iraq. Moreover, the name Mesopotamia is derived from, very well, you know very well, not to be the described too much, the Greek two words Mesos and meaning the middle, and the Potamos. Potamos meaning the water and the rivers. Understand? So between the water and rivers. So the Mesopotamia this term has been the consisted of the two. Okay, consisted of the two words, Greek words, or land lying the two rivers. It is the said. Moreover, the word Mesopotamia is anyway indicate towards the major river of the regions. And now this word Mesopotamia now indicate, and this address the two great rivers, and which had been the lifeline for the Mesopotamian civilization. These two great rivers have been the lifeline for the Mesopotamian people, and moreover, the Euphrates and Tigris, or undoubtedly Mesopotamian civilization, deserves a significant place among the Bronze Age civilization of the world. I have already mentioned that the four contemporary civilizations flourished in the different parts of the world, like the Chinese on the Wango, Indus Valley civilization, on the Indus Valley civilization, or here we see Nile Valley, Egyptian civilization on the Niles. So the amongst that, these four amongst the four civilizations, this civilization now has been the mark as the first civilization, and moreover, and the Tigris or the Euphrates now deserves for its significance or in the civilization in the civilization or in the history of the world civilization. These two rivers played the very important role, and moreover, Bronze Age civilization for the growth of the urban life. Here, no doubt, the urban life, first urban life emerged in the on the bank of the Euphrates and the Tigris, and voluminous and the rich literature have been now found from this civilization, and moreover, mathematics, astronomy, I have already mentioned, this civilization contributed an influence on the world civilization in a number of the ways. This civilization. One thing is that the archaeological survey or the discovery, which now conducted in the Mesopotamian in 1840s at the Indus Valley civilizations. Excavation began in 1922, right from there. Okay, and the more than the 300 sites have been excavated. Understand? So now, but the excavation in Mesopotamia now went on very long before, very long in 1840s the excavation began there, or because or this excavation was particularly done on the Uruk and the Mari. Uruk and Mari, the two important cities, we have already studied about that, and for a long time, and it was because this excavation that large number of Mesopotamian buildings, monuments, statue, or ornaments or the graves, tools, seals, or the written documents came into the light. Many things have been the and fragments have been the just revealed and found out from there, and significance information about the civilization. And these all these fragments or the remains which had been the excavated or they found out on that basis now the history of the Mesopotamia has been constructed. Moreover, the here we see, or it's worth mentioning, we are going to the Mesopotamia had become very important to the Europeans people. Now the Mesopotamia became the very much important or the center of the attraction or the center of the interest. Why? Because the several references to uh, to it in the Old Testament. Many references, several references have been found or the depicted or the written in the Old Testament referred. And the first part of the Bible, in the first part of Bible is called the Old Testament. In that the Old Testament, many of the incidents or about many times about the Mesopotamia, it has been described. That's this. This became the much interesting for the Europeans. Or now Europeans started. They wanted to find out the new, and they wanted the find out the remains which could be remains from the Mesopotamia, which could be the resembled, which could be a great match with the writings in Bibles and the remains of the Mesopotamians remains which had been the found from the excavation from the Mesopotamia. So now we can see here, now archaeological work commencement in area, all the efforts were made to prove the literal truth of the Old Testament. In 1873, when the British Museum started an expeditions to search the table narrating the story of the flood mentioned in the Bible. A story of flood had been the mentioned in the Bible. Understand? So they wanted to find out the tablets and the writings, whether it has been it resembles with the Bible or not. Understand? So for that they were the much interested in the and Bible. It was the funded by the British newspaper. And worth note that the story of the flood mentioned in Bible is also narrated in the traditional literature of the Mesopotamia. The story which had been the have been which has been mentioned had been mentioned is now also found in the literature of the Mesopotamia. So what a wonderful just a match they found, and ultimately what they had thought it became the real. So that's why the Europeans begin to think that their ancestral connection must have been from the Mesopotamian civilization. Their ancestral connection have been there, and moreover here we see that a story of the flood it was found, and in the Bible, the principal character of this flood is called the Noah. Noah was the principal character of this flood, and moreover, these traditionals or the Noah, whereas it has been the called the Geostrundra, and Justundra or the un Eutanapistim in the traditional literature of the Mesopotamia. So their name is the very resemble Noah, understand, who was the depicted as the Geosundra. Understand, Geosundra in the uh, 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 in the Mesopotamians. So see Noah and those had the good resemblance of that. And according to the Bible, Noah built a huge boat and an ark and took a pair each of the known species. And when the flood now overflowed, understand? So he built a huge boat and the ark, and now chosen and selected the pairs of the species, understand, pairs of the studies, and or then after all the known animals and the birds on the boat, and as the waters rose, everything as the water went, and everything was submerged, everything submerged, then after except the pairs of the boat, the ark perished. Thus, the commenced a new life on this earth. Or this now, no doubt, was the beginning of the new life on this earth. So students, we know here this story is the quite resembling to that, and moreover, here we shall a little bit a study about the geography of the Mesopotamia or present Mesopotamia. We know very well which country Mesopotamia civilization had been Iraq, you know very well. And moreover, these plains gradually rise to the tree covers. Now, first of all, come to the north of the Mesopotamia, this area, and it is the spread and very beautiful area here is the, and there is a great upper land is the great steppy land, and the big flowers, beautiful flower trees, and the flowers are flower blooms here, understand, or it is the mountainous, or the many of the streams and cascade now fall fall here. Understand? So now this area becomes the very beautiful. These plains gradually rise to the tree-covered mountain ranges or clear streams. Wildflowers provide provide it a natural beauty. The Euphrates and the Tigris are its major rivers. You know very well. I have not to the mention required here. And moreover, and these the Euphrates and the Tigris, both the rivers flow from the north to the south. I have already mentioned from north to south. Its flow is here, and now these and in southernmost tips, these rivers now submerge with the submerge into the Persian Gulfs. Here, DJ now comes down and merge with the Persian Gulf, and their waters into the Euphrates was the lifeline, and we know that Euphrates is the lifeline of the. It is called as the just like the Nile river is called as the lifeline for the Egyptians. Similarly, Euphrates is also called as the lifeline of the Europeans. Mesopotamians. Lifeline had been the and broadly divided into the two distinct regions. Yeah, and as a whole, this Mesopotamia has been divided in two regions and two area. It's had the two regions and area had its own features, having its own features. And first, in the north and the south. First, see here two distinct regions, north and south. Both the regions are the different environment. Again, if you see that both the both area had its own environment, own climate, quite distinct in the rest in terms of the climate. Climate are not matching or the similar. And from northern Mesopotamia extends from the Zagros mountain. It extends from the Zagros mountain to the or in the west, the region of bounded by the Syria desert. There we see that here is the West Syrian desert. We find here the Syrian deserts, and then after we also find here the Arabian desert. Syrian desert and the vast Arabian desert, and if we and after that the Mediterranean Sea is here. Understand? So here west is the completely desert area. Here the Syrian desert, upper part, and the lower part, unending the just Arabian desert, submerged the entire western part of this. And moreover, northern Mesopotamia frequently referred to Assyria during the ancient time. Or here the in the northern area, the Assyrian civilization developed. Assyrian civilization now dominate in the northern area of that. And moreover, southern Mesopotamia is the region lying roughly between Middle Tigris and the Persia. Southern here, we come here in south area, there is a here we see here is a just say Iran or Persia. Okay, in the south of that, and Persian Gulf. Southern here we see the Persian Gulf is here, and in the west there is a unending straight desert merging to the Arabian desert. I have already mentioned that here the Arabian deserts, and next or here the southern part is divided in two parts, Sumer and Akkad during the ancient time. Sumerian and Akkadians. From 2000 BC onwards, Akkad and Sumer together came to be the referred to the Babel, or almost the 2000 BC. Before, now Akkadians and Sumerians both were jointly and both together is to called as the Babylonian civilization here developed. Babylonian civilization, and moreover, and this or the first know here we see that Sumerian was the first language to know these people. Sumerian's language was the first, and now later on Akkadians now replaced this language, and for a long time Akkadian language now dominated till the Alexander the Great, till the means the 320 36 to the 23 BC. This was the period of the Alexander the Great. So till that the Akkadian language, first Sumerian language was replaced by Akkadians, and then Akkadians, okay, this dominated. And after the Akkadian, the new language, Aramaic language now dominated here. Aramaic language, it was the language resembling to the Hebrew. Understand? Hebrew. So the and this language is also we can find the in the inscription of the Ashoka the Great in the northwest frontiers. Ashoka carved out his pillar edicts and the rock edicts in which this had been depicted there. So students, the widely spoken language, this was the, or still in some part of the Iraq, Mesopotamia witnessed the growth of the three civilizations: Sumerian civilization, Babylonian civilization, or Assyrian civilization. The three main civilizations now flourished in this. Okay, so now students, we have to be the a very short glance on the agriculture and pastoralist life. You know very well that the agriculture first time the emerged in here in 7,000 to the 6,000 BC. Mesopotamia now adequate rainfall sustained the civilization, but we know that there was a in the northern Mesopotamia. I have already mentioned that the climate varies here. Understand? So in the northern part of the Mesopotamia now receives the adequate rainfall for the cultivation, for their livelihood. Adequate rainfall happens, and the crop without having the rely on the irrigation, and the crops are grown. Understand? Without the depending on the any irrigation system. Understand? So it's quite obvious that this area, northern area of the Mesopotamia, receives a water receives the rainfall, or winter rainfall supports the civilization of the crops. Now, winter rainfall happens here, and this winter rainfall particularly supports the wheat crops and the barley. Or even today, this practice is now practiced there. There was a stretch of uplands called the steppe. Here, steppe land, there is a uplands, and where the uplands, that is called the steppe, and this steppe is provide the rich fodders for their cattle, and here the animals herding was the better source of the livelihood that than the agriculture, and that is why this steppe is now provide the vast stretch of the fodders for their animal. So the animals now uh, animals now proves to be the much abundant for their livelihood, and rather than the agriculture. Understand? So we see students, after the winter rains, sheep and goats fed on the grasses and the low shrubs on the gravel. So after the rainfall, sheep are fed on, and this okay, and on the grass and the shrubs which they found. And now in the west, in the southern plains, also called the Sumer. Let's come to the southern area. Southern area is quite different from the northern India we have seen. Sorry, northern Mesopotamia we have seen. Let's come to the southern Mesopotamia. Sumerian language is spoken here, and rain was not adequate for the staple crops. But the southern area uh, does not receive the adequate rain for the cultivation. Understand? So now we see that this area, so that is why this is the desert area, was the semi-arid desert area. That is why it's natural that no rains is received. So that's why this proves to be the desert area, and sparsely vegetated lands is the marshy in the lowest. If you come the lowest area of this southern Mesopotamia, so where is the marshy? Because why the marshy land here and the watery? Because of the Euphrates and Tigris falls here at the mouth of the Euphrates and Tigris. and at the submerging at the mouth of the south, the where what happens, where the area is the very watery, and as the villages are connected by the boats, where the villages are interconnected, because here the water accumulates at the confluence of Tigris, Euphrates, and the Persian Gulfs. Where so there, because of that, the people now here the villages are also, and these villages are adjoined together, adjoined or the reached out by the boats. So now, students, we see that, and moreover, boats connects or fishing is the very important profession here, and moreover, the hunting of the birds and the wild pigs in the reed, particularly the reed very high reed, stick like grass, very high grass. In that the wild pigs are found, and as well as many kind of the birds are found. So those are hunted by the Mesopotamians, southern Mesopotamian people, and already been discussed. We have already seen fisher folk living in the southern or the Mars region, or now soil of the region was extremely fertile, but it was not possible to cultivate staple crops without the irrigation. Soil was very fertile, but it could not be the cultivated because of the lack of irrigation here. Understand? Mouth was very marshy here, but it's if you go beyond it, that, but there is a desert here, and staple crops could not be the cultivated, and there was the why the earliest settlements were the along the banks of the Tigris and the Euphrates, or this is the reasons that now earliest settlements was around the Tigris and Euphrates rivers. Okay. Students, we have cultivations of the staples crops, wheat and barley, dependent on the rhythm of the Euphrates. Effects would rise with the onset of the winter or spring rains, reach the height in the April. Winter rain happens, understand? Spring rain, or effects now got its height, means the abundant water in flood became the floody in the April months. The effects used to be the, and now, or here we entering the Sumer. On entry, the river would be the branch into the several because of its slope. When this Euphrates enters in the Sumer, understand? So now after that, in the slope area, there is a slope. So it's divided in the different rivers. Sorry, different small rivers, or like making like the canals. It divides after falling in the slope. It's now makes the different way, forming the different small or little rivers. And this channel of the different channels of the rivers, Euphrates, now let mix, and from that the Sumerians now got dug the canals. On these canals becomes and canals now becomes important for their irrigation. So a natural irrigation system, they get a natural water, natural rivers they get from the Euphrates. Understand? So this help in their cultivation, and the branch help the here the water, the functions of the now irrigations, the water from these branches could be the directed field to the now digging the canals. I have already mentioned that. Consequently, the network of the canal now of the Euphrates, consequently network of the canals and the barrage came to in the southern Mesopotamia. Because of that, in southern Mesopotamia, the network of the barrage and the canals have been made there, and water from these channels could be let into the fields of the wheat, barley, peas, lentils, and the per requirements, or bees, and the onions, garlics, cucumber, and other fruits can be grown. Though the region did not have the sufficient rainfall to grow the crops. Agriculture of southern Mesopotamia, in the opinion of scholars, was most productive of all ancient systems, including the Roman Empire. Okay, and moreover, the pastoralism was also a practice along that. We know that where we find the large scale of the stretch of the land, and those are the steppes. So that help in the development and the growth of the pastoral's life, and the livestock, spring graze or the steppe desert. It is the words mentioning that Euphrates brought down the salt dissolved in water. Moreover, here we find that these weedy bushes and eaten by the goats and sheep, these natural vegetation makes the available made makes available the bushes and the weedy bushes eaten by the goats and the sheep. There, therefore, the sheep and goats were the domesticated on the steppe. Okay, the now northeastern plains of the mountain slopes, pastoralism was in flourishing state in the Mesopotamian civilization. Pastoralism and now, or the ancient wool, the chief fabrics was exported. So the Mesopotamians exported the export fabrics and the wool to the other countries, and moreover pastoral produce like the milk products together and the river fish provided a reliable buffer against the harvest failures. In case of the failure of the harvesting and the agriculture, so these availability of the fishes, understand, and the hunting or the milk and milk products, they just like functioned as a buffer stocks against the famines or droughts in case of that. Okay, and moreover we see rivers say date palms grown in the fruits in summer. Date palm is very important. And now it was in the southern Mesopotamia that first cities came into the emerge and the writing registered its growth. Thank you very much. In the next class we shall do, and in a revision. This is the revision, not I am just a very short glance we are going through. Understand? So you will keep on your study. Okay. Thank you very much.